It's 10:30 in the morning, and I'm getting ready to put my hat on. And if you look at this hat, this is a happy birthday hat. And so today might be your birthday. It'd be your lucky day if it's your birthday today. I got a question for everyone. How many of you have a birthday? Raise your hand if you have a birthday. See, that's a trick question. Everybody's hand should have went up because everybody has a birthday. It just might not be today, but that's not what I asked. I just asked how many of you have a birthday. So, I thought because we're celebrating everybody having a birthday, we ought to sing. Let's sing happy birthday to everyone, okay? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, everyone. Happy birthday to you. And now that we've had a song about happy birthday, you might be able to talk your mom or your grandma, whoever you're staying with, you might be able to talk them into making a birthday cake today. Wouldn't that be something? You could celebrate your birthday. Your birthday might be in October, but you could celebrate it here in April. It'd be okay. Happy birthday, everyone. Well, I've got a little story to tell you. It's happened to me when I was just a young boy, and if you've been watching these every day, you know that I grew up in the little town of Cumberland, Maryland, about an hour and 15 minutes from Petersburg, West Virginia. And I went to a little elementary school for the first 5 years of school. Up through 5th grade, I went to Johnson Heights Elementary School. And I can't remember what my teacher's name was in 1st or 2nd grade. I'm not sure exactly. I want to say this happened to me in 1st grade. And bless her heart, I don't remember my 1st grade teacher's name. I'm 60 now, and my 1st grade teacher, I've been thinking about this, if she was 30 when she was teaching, she would be like 85 or 84 years old now, so she could still be alive. She could be around somewhere, maybe very healthy, maybe somewhere in a nursing home. But, I've thought about some of the things I used to do when I was a little boy, and some of those things weren't very good. And one of the things that I did, and this, I really didn't try to do this on purpose. When I look back, there's a funny part of it. It can be funny, but at the same time, it's kind of sad that I was involved in this. But here's my story. When I was in probably 1st grade, the room that we had a section off to the side where it had a nice big deep sink with a great big faucet and a cold and a hot controls there. And every so often in our classroom we'd have art, and we did a lot of finger painting on big pieces of paper. We had great big paint brushes, and we'd get tempera paint out, and we'd paint pictures and things like that. And I'm an artist, and God's blessed me with the ability to draw and to paint and use chalks and things like that. And I've tried to use my ability for God. And so when I was just a little boy, even then I knew I had some skill in that area. And I loved art. I loved those times. And this particular day in class, we had been painting. And of course, if you're a little young kid, if you're painting, you get paint on your fingers and on your, we used to wear an old white T-shirt that was real big, and we'd put that over top of us to keep the paint and everything from getting all over our good school clothes. And so this particular day, for some reason, we were wrapping up the art time. We were starting to clean up, and some of us were already over at the sink and were washing our hands. Hey, and it's a good thing to wash your hands. You should wash your hands at least today. 6 times, that's your goal. Wash your hands at least 6 times today. And, while we were cleaning up, the teacher said, boys and girls, I have to run down to the office just for a second, and I don't know why. And she left us. The teacher left us in the classroom by herself. And that right there probably wasn't a good move, because What smart teacher leaves about 25 or 30 6 or 7-year-olds alone in a classroom? Well, she left. We were washing our hands and cleaning our paintbrushes, and we were just having a good time. But anytime a group of little kids get together and there's water there, you know, splashing and getting each other wet and flipping water on each other, that started to happen. The teacher wasn't there. She'd walked down the hall towards the office. And the office, if I remember right, was way down at the other end of the school hall. And so she was walking down there, and while she was walking down there, I started fooling with the cold and the hot spigots. And that water coming up out of that faucet, it would hit in the bottom of that stainless steel sink, and it was just splashing everywhere. If I turned the cold and the hot on all the way, that water was just, it was almost like a fire hose. And the kids were all giggling around me, and I was running the hot and the cold, the hot and the cold. I was kind of being ornery. You know, the Bible says, the Bible calls it foolishness. You know, and so, you know, that's all I was doing. But all of a sudden, and I didn't mean for this to happen. It was an accident. But I admit, I was goofing off. And I was being silly. I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing when I was turning the hot and cold off and on, off and on. And somehow I must have turned that cold extra hard, and somehow the knob and everything that controlled all, it came off. It came off in my hand. When it came off, water started shooting way up in the air. It went up and it hit the ceiling. And it turned that area of the classroom into like a big water fountain. And, well, you know, like 6 or 7-year-olds do. We all started giggling and squealing. We were running around underneath that water. The teacher, she was just walking down to the office and walking back from the office. Little did she know what was going on in her classroom. Everything was getting wet. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but when the teacher came back into the room, there 20 kids were kind of running and dancing underneath that water and giggling, and probably there were probably some kids that were standing against the wall. Others were trying to get as far away from the water as possible. But I remember I was pretty well soaked, and I was laughing. I found it funny till the teacher came in the room. She hollered and squealed and screamed, "What are you doing?" And I don't remember how it all ended. I don't remember if she took us all out of the room. I don't remember if the custodian came in with a mop. I don't know all that happened. It was just an accident. And I think back about that, and I think, boy, I would have hated to have been the teacher. Because the teacher knew that although it was my fault. It was an accident though, but I had been goofing off, turning the knobs. But boy, the teacher, I don't think she ever left us alone in that room again. Or at least she never left me alone in that room again. And so what's the Bible? You know, I say the Bible's got something to say about everything, and it does. The Bible says foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. It's just natural. It comes to us just natural that we do silly, sometimes mischievous, sometimes bad, just flat out bad things. And it's bound. It's just who we are. We're kids. But you know what the rest of that verse says? It says, "But the rod of correction shall drive it far from him." Oh, my mom, she used to quote that verse to me. Right before I had to get over the little green round stool in the middle of the living room and then get a whipping. She'd say, "Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from thee." And so my mom would use a switch, or sometimes she used a belt, sometimes she used a ping pong paddle, sometimes she just used a yardstick. And I got a little whipping on the backside, on my behind. Oh, I yelled and screamed and whined. Oh, like it was killing me, but I'm alive. It didn't kill me. What she was trying to do was straighten me up, keep me from doing all kinds of ornery things. God says that if you spare the rod, you'll spoil the child. Meaning, if it's a good thing, if you get a whipping, if you get a spanking once in a while, that'll help keep you right. That'll keep the foolishness out of your life. And so, I'm not talking about child abuse. I'm not talking about beating you up or anything like that. But if you've ever experienced getting a whipping, you were getting that whipping to try to help you be a good boy or be a good girl. Because your mom, your dad, your grandparents, because they loved you. If you talk to your mom, your dad, your grandparents, they'll tell you, yeah, I got some of those whippings. Those whippings teach you to respect and to mind and to obey what you're being told. Because God says, foolishness, it's bound in the heart of a child. It's just who we are. And so we need help. We don't always know what's right. You know, it's easy when we're just a little kid to take our clothes off and just give them a toss and they just land on the floor. That's just the way a child is. But as we grow older, we should learn to pick those clothes up and not to just throw them everywhere. We learn the purpose of a clothes hamper or a clothes basket, what a washer and dryer does for us, and we learn to use those kind of things. But when you're a young child, you don't know all that. It's a learning process. So, let's remember today to wash our hands at least 6 times a day. And let's work on growing up. Let's work on not having so much foolishness in our lives. Let's purpose today. You know, I'm going to show that I'm growing up. I'm going to pick my dirty clothes up, and I'm going to put them in the clothes hamper or take them out to the clothes basket. If you gather all your dirty clothes up and you walk past your mom and she's sitting in the living room watching television, and you walk past her with a great big armload of your dirty clothes, and your mom says, "What are you doing?" "Mom, I'm being responsible. I'm growing up. I'm taking my dirty clothes into the washroom," and you put them in the clothes basket. Wow, when you come back, your mom might grab a hold of you. She might do one or two things. She might grab you, give you a big old bear hug for being so responsible. Or she might reach out and feel your forehead to see if you've got a fever. Because she can't believe that you're being so good. So either way, that's a good thing. So, hey, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday to you. Have a good day.